Where do you think things stand with you, and how did it go this evening? A little bit of a rough start for you, and then you kind of rallied.
Yeah, obviously limited reps, and I got to come out better from the get, and it was weird to find some rhythm there, but no excuse. I got to find a way to start better.
Zach, how do you guard against maybe being a little overconfident, knowing that you have had 33 NFL starts? You played against a bunch of guys that's their first time in an NFL game, or second. To guard against, like, oh, I'm going to go dice these guys up or whatever, especially in a vanilla look most of the time.
Yeah, I don't know if overconfidence is ever probably an issue. I think having a lot of confidence is always going to be a good thing. And, just like everybody out there, I'm just trying to, put my best out there and do the best I can on each play. And, whether you said it's starters or backups, I mean, the gap between guys is very slim. It's a tough league, and it's the best of the best. And no matter what, every situation is different. So, credit to those guys, too.
Zach, both when you were in and before, just what you see from the run game? It seemed like it had a little bit more success tonight.
Yeah, really good. I thought those guys did a great job. Besides some of the negative plays we had, I thought we ran the ball really well. Some big holes, backs hit it hard. Starts with the big boys up front. I thought they did a good job.
What did make the difference in your mind as you started to get in a rhythm down the stretch?
Yeah, I think just getting a completion sometimes helps. I thought I missed some easy ones, just kind of felt out of rhythm a bit. And sometimes just getting a drive going always helps. You felt that before, and you go 3 and out, and penalty, negative play, I take a sack, those things don't help. And so just kind of getting a drive started and going in the right direction is going to help.
Zach, Tyler Beatty's been a guy you've been in with quite a bit. What's just impressed you about his camp and the way that he's gone?
Yeah, he comes after it. He gets after it every single day. I mean, he's a great player. Loves the game. All positive things to say about him. He's always ready to go out there and play, and hits it hard.
Hey, Bo, straight back. Just how did it feel, your first home game, nearly perfect, and obviously come away with the win, but, when you were out there, it seems like things went pretty well.
Yeah, it felt really good. I thought we started off really well. Defense got a huge stop, flipped the field for us, and we were able to walk away with points. You'd like to get a touchdown in that situation, but then we were able to turn back around, go down and get a touchdown. So I thought we executed well. We stayed in front of the chains. Even though we got behind on that one, we were able to get a chunk play and get back in the red zone and get a first down. So that was really good. You like to see what those guys can do, and tonight they made plays. And you got Tim, Cortland, all those guys that were out there making plays and executing the play. So nothing that was crazy. I mean, we see it every day, but those guys just went out there and put it on film.
Bo, on the touchdown drive, you take us through the sort of deep in cut to Cortland that set you up first and goal, and then also how cool was it to just get Tim in the end zone after he's missed the last 2 seasons with injury?
Yeah, so that was a big, like I said, that was a big second and long, got us a first down after the penalty. So that was a big explosive play, a good chunk play to get us in the red zone. And then we did a good job of just, finding Tim there in the end zone. Happy for him. Obviously, he's been through a lot. It's not easy to overcome the things that he has, and then to get out there and be able to contribute like he did tonight was just really cool to see. And he's a gamer. He does a really good job when his number's called, and it was good to see him in the end zone.
You told us on Friday that you're not focused on the pressure of it. You're just trying to have fun based on what you learned in college. How much is the fit helping when you're doing these bootlegs, this play action, you're getting outside the pocket? How much is the fit and the way they're calling plays helping you accelerate this as well?
Really good. I think it's a really good fit, especially tonight. I mean, come out here, I'm very comfortable with the first few plays that were called, and they were kind of, keeping it within my comfort level, and that's, huge, especially for someone who's trying to get in there and execute. You want to run plays that you feel comfortable with, and that's what Coach Payton was calling tonight. So we do a good job of, practicing throughout the week and making sure we're prepared for those plays. And, yeah, I messed up a few tonight, and there'll always be those that you mess up, but you definitely want to, execute more than you mess up, and so that's what we were able to do tonight.
Bo, do you think you've done enough to earn the starting quarterback job?
That's not for me to decide.
Do you feel confident, though, in what you've done in 2 preseason games? You feel good about the body of work?
Yep.
Yeah, Bo, just talk about the one play that was called back, the touchdown pass. Did you know you were probably over the line?
When I looked to the side, I kind of had a feeling, but they didn't throw a penalty, so I thought I got by, but the instant replay gets us all.
Bo, Can you just speak to the mentality when you get behind the chains like that? I mean, I know it's not easy when you're in 2nd and 15, 3rd and long,
Yeah.
whatever, but what's the mentality to overcome that sort of thing?
We were, sitting there at 1st and 10, I believe, and, we were in the huddle, and Mike McGlinchey said something great. He said, just one play at a time, so that kind of sets us all and gets us, kind of in a one-play focus. And once again, we were able to get back to 2nd and 10 and then get a 1st down. So it took us 2 plays to overcome that penalty or whatever the loss was. And, it's just good to see your offense do that. Sometimes you're going to be faced with a setback and you want to overcome those because it's not always going to be pretty. And so to be able to do that was really good for us.
Bo, I'm curious, over here, sorry. From the first game to the second game, there must have been some things you wanted to improve on. I'm curious if you have any examples of, even if it's small things, that you were able to correct going from one week to the next week.
We wanted to get in and out of the huddle quick. Sometimes whenever the play gets in there, you get up to the line, you feel rushed, but just felt like, tonight emphasis was getting in and getting out of the huddle. Sometimes you have longer play calls, so we want to stay close to the huddle and get the guys out so you can break and get the the right play that's called. And I felt like we did a much better job of that, and we were playing ahead and didn't really feel rushed.
Bo, speaking of that, last week the only thing Sean pointed to that he wanted you to improve on was your footwork. How did you feel that went for you tonight?
I thought it was good. The pocket was great. Able to stand in there and deliver some throws, and footwork piece is always tricky because sometimes you just go off of natural and you go off of feel. Sometimes you're able to go in rhythm, and those are the good ones. But we know it doesn't always necessarily happen like that. So sometimes you got to break the pocket. Sometimes you got to run. We had a few opportunities tonight where we got out the pocket. One that was called back. It was really close. So and then another was able to go get some yards and cut the yardage in half that we needed. So those are always good. You always want to escape, but you definitely want to stay on time. The more on time you can stay, play within rhythm, I think it just opens up all the rest of the movements.
Bo, I know you're focused on your job, but either pregame or after you were out of the game, did you allow yourself to look around and kind of take in the moment of your first home game and see there's certainly a lot of 10 Knicks jerseys because they're new uniforms, they're easy to spot. Did you get to do any of that?
Yeah, I thought the atmosphere was awesome. Obviously, my first game here, even though it was a preseason game, I thought it was really fun. It was a great atmosphere. Kept the fans engaged, kept us on the sideline engaged. And these games are kind of strange because you're playing a certain amount of time, and you do know you're coming out. But when that happens, you just want to stay engaged with the guys and have a good time, and because that's really what you do it for. You go out there and celebrate with everybody, and we're all just, kids at heart having fun playing football.
Jared, can you take us through the rushing touchdown there? Do you feel a little bit like Javonte as you lowered your shoulder?
Yeah. Everybody kept calling me Lamar Jackson on the sideline. I got a long way to go for that. But, I just saw an open lane and just decided to take it and try and get in the end zone. It worked out, so.
Yeah, Jared, you've been leading this quarterback competition most of the offseason, early part of training camp. I mean, how do you feel it's going now? A lot of people think that, Bo might be the guy right now.
Yeah, look, I can control what I can control, and that's how well prepared I am every day. My effort and attitude every day, and going out there and executing. I mean, that's all I can do. And I've always said, competition's super healthy. I think it's really good. I'm not going to get caught up in what's what or what it is or what it isn't. I'm focusing on every single day what I can do to be the guy, and that sort of thing. So,
Jared, moving away from the QB competition specifically, what can you sense differently this year than last year about this team and the atmosphere and everything else, the environment around
for sure. I think the main thing, Sean is obviously, he came here last year and he's trying to pour the foundation. I think that was a big part of last year, and I think finally you have a lot of guys buying into what he's teaching, what he's trying to do on a daily basis, and definitely feels so much different about this team, at this point. And like I've said multiple times, I mean, we're really, really close, and this is a really close team. And I was talking to Dave Logan on the radio, and
people don't see it, but like we just went crazy for Tim Patrick in the locker room after the game because he finally, he scored his first touchdown, back from the injuries and stuff over the last 2 years, and that doesn't happen everywhere. So, yeah, it's a special group of guys for sure.
Jared, can you take us through the interception? Were you hit on that? Then did the ball hit off the helmet? It seemed like a weird play.
No, it just got tipped up in the air. Just unfortunate. So.
You just mentioned the celebration for Tim in the locker room. As one of the guys who was around last year when he wasn't, what has it been like to watch him be a full participant in training camp and now get to kind of have a game like this?
Yeah, it's been great. I can't speak highly enough about Tim as a person, and as a player. I mean, he's a veteran. He works his tail off. The last 2 years obviously have been tough for him, but to see him come back and be able to do the things he's done, and he had a great game tonight. Was open pretty much the entire time he was out there, and just couldn't be more excited for him for sure.
Jared, going back to why you guys are so close, do you have any specific examples of why you think you're closer perhaps this year at this time than last year?
I think it's unique, at least from my perspective. I feel like it hasn't been like this everywhere I've been, but, one thing I always talk about is, I feel like on teams I've been on, it's, you kind of hang out with the offensive guys, or, the defense guys kind of hang out with the defensive guys, but, you'll see, I hang out with offensive guys, defensive guys, specialists, everybody, and it just doesn't really happen a lot. If you go in our cafeteria at the facility, you see guys, sitting with other guys. It's a cool, community that Sean's really built. And
that wasn't happening last year, or not the same.
No, I think it was definitely part of it. And again, with a lot of guys coming back this year, you just naturally get closer. And one thing we did last year, right after the season was over, the next weekend, there was, I don't know, probably 16 or 17 of us that took a trip to Aspen for like a long weekend, just hanging out, dinners, just being guys, hanging out. And, again, that doesn't happen everywhere.
Jared, Sean mentioned multiple times the penalties and that has to get cleaned up. When you look at it, kind of what do you see out there that needs to be fixed? How do you get that kind of fixed for next week?
Yeah, obviously we got to, take a look at the film and see exactly what it is. But, the penalties are tough because whenever you're moving the ball, moving it well, and then you have a penalty that brings you back, like it's hard to overcome that. This league's too good. The players on the opposite sideline are too good. The coaches are too good. So, whenever it's, 2nd and 15 or 1st and 20, it's always hard to bounce back from that. We'll definitely look at it and see what we can do to get better.
Just a couple comments from me before I open it up. I thought what I told the players just a little bit ago, I was pleased with, when I say the week, the preparation, the joint practice, and then the energy tonight. That's a start. That's half the battle when you play this game. And I thought there were a lot of positives. Now, we had enough penalties for 3 games, and we've got to get a lot of that cleaned up. We'll see the tape. They'll come in here tomorrow, but I liked how we played relative to the effort. There'll be a number of things we look at on tape and we're happy with, and there'll be some things that obviously we have to get cleaned up. So, any questions?
Hey, Sean, has Bo Nix done enough to win the starting quarterback job in your view?
Well, listen, he's played well. I'm not announcing any starting quarterback tonight, or I'll let you guys know when the time comes. But I thought he played well. The one penalty, which was, right on the line, it was tough. It was good. It was a pretty heads-up play. He did a good job at the line of scrimmage with some checks. You feel his comfort level as he continues to get used to the calls coming in, and you kind of feel the poise when he's playing, and the other two the same way. I said this last week. I like the room, so their job is to lead their offense down the field and score points, and they all had touchdown drives. But I thought he was sharp. Obviously, I think he was 8 for 9, and he does a good job of distributing the football, understanding the zones, man-to-man, and what coverage concepts we're getting. But overall, I was pleased.
Yeah, Sean, you seem to have a plan for bringing Bo along. Has it gone pretty much according to the script?
I don't know that I laid out a script. I mean, look, we're trying to develop and teach and coach, and we're trying to, give these guys stuff they do well. You know, I think part of our job is to understand their strengths and then try to build upon them. And so I think he's done a good job of working, digesting it, and really, heading into the game, looking at the game plan. All three of them kind of, dot the plays they really like highlight. I've got a call sheet, and I had a couple different sets of sheets depending on what quarterback was in, just to get to some of the stuff that they really like. But it's going well. We're not there yet.
Coach, you told Kay Adams the band still has to play a couple more times, using that metaphor, knowing it's not done yet. How's the band sounding? How are things progressing?
Listen, this is all right. Putting the cap on the Bo questions right here. The band sounds pretty good. I'm not dancing. Listen, there are a lot of things we did well as a team. All right, I'm not announcing a starter, and I told you I'll get with you when we do.
Sean, how challenging, or what kind of challenge does it present when a team doesn't play their starters to measure your guys?
Look, we can't control that. So, we were able to control it on Friday when they did. And so we've got to worry about our team and what our plan was. Our plan after the practice that we had, and I felt like a month ago I had an idea, and that changed after we finished because we got a lot of reps on Friday. So we kind of stuck to last week's pitch count, if you will. Like normally, that second preseason game, I'd like to get, in the high 20s with the ones, and I think we were short of that. But I felt like we certainly had plenty of snaps on Friday. Matt didn't start his players, I get it, but we did. So,
Coach Tim Patrick got back in the end zone for the first time in a couple of years.
1,000 days? Is that what they were saying?
I think so. Just what did you see from him tonight, and can you just kind of speak to the progress he's made since he's been here?
Yeah, look, players were excited in there for him. He had a big smile on his face. When you both he and Griffin, when you have an injury for a year, and Quinn Bailey's one, when you have one of those injuries, it's quiet, it's lonely, everything goes on, it's difficult. But when you have it for two, you can really go back historically and then try to find players that have been out for 2 years. And, it's tough. That's a long time in this sport. And so when he has a moment like that, or when he has a practice where you see him, getting back to form, it's encouraging.
Sean, I know you'll need to look at the tape, but it looked like another active night for Jonah Ellis. What's impressed you so far about his?
Yeah, look, I like his energy. I think they called the one roughing on him. I kind of saw that, and that's a tough call. But he has a counter move. He's someone that it's not just one rush plan. He plays with passion, and again, I'm encouraged with the rookie class. A number of these guys have a chance to contribute, and we'll just keep working with him. But it's good to see his progress. He got a lot of snaps tonight.
Sean, you've had a lot of eyes on the offense for obvious reasons, but defensively, this is a good week going back to Fridays.
Yeah, I would agree. Look, we played the run well at Indy, and then we came back off that game, and now there were a lot of good things in that joint practice. And look, if you look closely at it, Green Bay makes some plays as well. We finished in a real good fashion in that 2-minute drill. We're just, kind of stacking these practices and building confidence. And so we had 2 takeaways. I think we scored 10 points off of them. We didn't win the penalty battle. We won the turnover battle. I'm encouraged.
Sean, for the second straight game, you started Cody Barton, and then a cornerback, Riley Moss, got the start. How does the competition stand at those two defensive
Pretty
positions?
tight. Those guys are working back and forth. All of those guys are getting reps. And so, we'll look at tonight's tape. We'll see how we're going to roll it next week relative to those specific positions, and then prepare for what we want to do against Arizona.
Sean, you've talked about your youth at safety. Just what have you seen, not only tonight, but through camp from some of those guys like Kedron Smith, Devon?
Yeah, and look, you get snaps. You have one guy goes down, and then all of a sudden you have a chance to develop some others. And so, you mentioned Smith and Key, and they're getting a lot of playing time, and it's hard to simulate. These game day opportunities. Friday's practice is a good way to simulate it, but it's hard for us to create that on a daily basis. And I think it's part of developing a young team, getting them playing time, not being afraid to put them out there and make the corrections. And there's just an energy about this group that's positive.
You talk about winning at the line of scrimmage, being tough. What progress are you seeing from the run game offensively? It looks like it's setting up some other stuff.
Yeah,
for you.
look, I thought it was good at times tonight. We have a 38-yard run called back because of a penalty, and I want to look at the tape. We had, like I said at the onset, far too many fouls. So they set you back. They take yards off your numbers, but more importantly, they also take away field position. But one of the points, or one of the things I wanted to see tonight is offensively, I wanted to see how we were doing that way, and I thought it was a little inconsistent, but obviously I felt like we ran it a lot better than they did.
Coach, you mentioned the penalties multiple times now. How do you fix that? How do you coach that out of the team?
Well, look, it's discipline. Part of it is tolerance. It's that old saying, if it keeps repeating itself, then are we allowing it? And so sometimes we can get in the habit in practice where someone lines up offside, someone is grabbing a jersey, and if we're not correcting it, or somebody is then it's that much easier for that to occur in a game. So, we'll have a chance to look at the tape and then really look at the calls and evaluate them. But we were able to overcome that, and I thought the kicking game played well. I thought overall we played well. Yeah.